Perhaps that should be my next book. I did say I wasn't going to write another book after this one, but perhaps, the culture of mediocrity should be my next book. How's it doing? Yeah, pretty average.
Hey everybody, it's John Lamilton here alongside my good friend and business partner, Mr. Jason Brockman. We are here for another episode of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast, where as always, it is our job to help you get more customers and make more money without just working harder. So without further ado, let's dive straight into this month's episode.
Hey everybody, welcome to the summer special of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast. Regular listeners to the ALB podcast will know that our summer special, we don't have a guest. It's just myself and Jace chewing the fat, putting the world to rights and doing our absolute best. We promise you not to get political. How do you think we're going to do, Jace?
I think we're going to do very well today at it.
What, based on our pre-chat before we started recording where we got incredibly political?
We got it out of our system. I reckon we don't need to talk about any of the politics bits now. That's cool.
I reckon so. So what do we need to talk about on this summer special then? What's our first topic for the day?
I want to grill you about your book.
What book?
Yeah, your book. You're in the middle. Yeah, indeed.
Oh, that one.
The book that's coming out now. We'll talk a little bit about your summer reading, which would be more like autumn writing.
Yeah. So I made a rather foolhardy statement. I think probably back at the start of the year, might have even been in our Christmas podcast, where I said retention first. My fifth book. It's coming out summer 2025, and at the time. That was really vague. Summer. It's an entire season. And summer 2025, that seemed a long way away. And I got to the point in my writing process, probably January, February time, where I thought, this is going really well. I'm like 3 months ahead of schedule. Summer 25, not a problem. And then I handed the book over to some beta readers. And they didn't perform the way they were supposed to.
John, it's amazing. It's brilliant. That's just what you want, John. That's exactly how it just.
That's what I wanted to hear. Yeah, they didn't say that.
Oh.
They went, "Oh, this is a bit crap, isn't it? Oh, I don't understand this section. Nah, you've lost me. This bit's boring. Oh God, there's too much maths in chapter 1. You're making me work far too hard." And it was almost back to the drawing board. I had it back from beta readers. Where are we now? We're recording this mid-July. I had it back from beta readers 4 months ago. And I've been working on it ever since to try and make it right. And just, I want this to be right, I've set the goal high here. The bar is, this is my aim for this book. This book, Retention First, is going to be the best book on customer retention that any small business owner has ever read. That's my criteria. And when I got it back from beta readers, I'm a mile away from hitting that barrier. So it needed a lot of work. And it's interesting. It's the same mistakes I always make. I've made like certain chapters are way too big. Like most chapters are, 12 pages long, 13 pages long. And then suddenly you get to one chapter and it's 30 pages. You're like, whoa, this was hard work. And the problem is I've created this book, so it's frameworks. So this mega chapter, it's a framework. I can't split it into 2 frameworks, and I kind of have to. And I've got to the point now whereby I'm a little bit fed up of it. I don't want to see this book again. But I have to, because that's my mantra, is to make it the best damn book it can. It's not too far away from getting there. I've done several rounds of edits now. It's gone back out to beta readers probably about 6 weeks ago now. I've had no negative feedback this time, so it's kind of, I have fixed the big problems that were there. I'm now just fixing all the little problems that I pick up, and it's amazing. I don't know if any of our listeners have written books, but every time you go through it, you spot something wrong, spot something different. So probably Evergreen Assets is one of the best examples. I took 8 months to edit that book. So after I'd finished writing it, another 8 months of editing, probably 7 full rounds of editing with a professional editor. I've then gone through it on my own, probably another 3 or 4 times. And every time there's a typo. Oh, hang on, that doesn't quite work. You find something to the point where you go, right, I'm not finding anything, or I found one thing in the 96,000 words of content. I found one problem. And you put it out there. And then 3 months later, you record the audiobook. And as you're reading the audiobook, you're like, there's a typo there. I've got that wrong. That doesn't make sense. Big ideas. I got my maths wrong in one part, and I didn't notice it until I'd recorded the audiobook. And about 6 months later, I was out walking the dog, listening to my own audiobook, going, that maths doesn't add up. I must have narrated it wrong. Got home, opened up the book. Bear in mind, the book had been out 18 months by now. Nope, sure enough, the maths is wrong in the book as well. I have corrected it now. Anyone who buys an updated version of Big Ideas, you're getting the right maths. But yeah, writing books is really hard. Despite what certain gurus will tell you about what's possible with AI, that you can write a book in 3 weeks. Writing a really good book in 3 weeks isn't possible. Writing a really good book is hard. And if you want to write something, or I'm using book writing, but any content, if you want to create some content that actually stands the test of time, and that in 10 years' time, people still say, that's the best damn book on customer retention I've ever read, that requires hard work. And yeah, I'm missing my summer deadline. It will probably be out, I reckon, October, November time. Hey, it might be later. If it takes another year, it takes another year. Mr. Bull from Routine Machine, it will take as long as it will take, because I want to make the best damn book I can, not the best book I can by summer 25. The time doesn't really matter, other than to my little OCD brain, where I go, right, I've had a book in 2017, 2019, 2021, and 2023. So that's every odd year. So I've got to get it out in 2025. By the way, Evergreen Assets 2021 came out on the 23rd of November because it had to get in that year. There we go.
So did you want to do a little sales pitch for Retention First?
Yeah, it's the best damn book you've ever read on customer retention.
How brilliant is that?
It's going to be. I mean, ultimately, the key point I want to get across is that keeping the customers you already have is the greatest way to scale your business. If you can increase retention by just 5%, your profits will increase by between 25 and 95%. So it's hugely leveraged, and not enough businesses do this. And I've lived this for the past 2 years now. I've just noticed everywhere, new customers only. We only look after new customers. As soon as people have a customer, their attention just goes elsewhere, and they don't look after their existing clients first. And it's an epidemic, not just within this country, but particularly in this country, whereby we just prioritize new customers, new business over existing ones. And if you can keep the customers you've already got, that gives you such a platform, such a foundation to build on, to be able to afford to acquire lots of new, really good customers that you also look after and keep. And it's just, putting retention first is something that I think doesn't come naturally to a lot of people. But when you do flip that mindset, it's a proper light bulb moment.
Yeah, I guess for lots of people, they're out chasing business, got to do more business, got to get more customers, and it's sales marketing, so that's revenue generating. It's the thing that you're doing. Whereas customer service and that side of things, and looking after our existing customers, that's a cost, because I've already got them, because I've won that deal, I've won them already. So that's probably looked as more of a cost as opposed to revenue generating, and therefore that's the mindset for most businesses, and where they spend their budget on marketing and getting new people and on top salespeople and things like that, which it completely, as you say, turns the two on the retention first.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a little bit of muscle memory as well, I think. So when you start your business, you're like, right, I need to get some sales in. I need to get some business in. So yeah, let's get customers. Let's win business. And it's terms like that. Let's win business. Let's get new clients. Let's get more people in the door. You build up that muscle memory that's how we do business. So when you get to the point where you sit down with your accountant and your accountant says, oh, you haven't done very well this year. How are you going to get 10% growth, 20% growth next year? You just go, well, I need to win more business. I need to get more people in the door. And you don't think, hang on, how about the people I already got in the door? I serve them better. How about I get them buying more often? How about I get them spending more money? How about I get them coming back time and time again? There's a story I use in the book about a gutter cleaning company. So I had my gutters cleaned about 2 years ago now. And I found this company on Google. Their Google My Business profile was brilliant. They obviously read Evergreen Assets because their Google My Business profile was brilliant. They had reviews, they had images, they had a really good website which had good lead capture. I sent an inquiry to them. I had a reply within 20 minutes. 25 minutes, I had a price and an appointment booked. They turned up when they said they were going to. They did exactly what they said they were going to do, and they charged me exactly what they promised to. So far, so brilliant. Until they went to leave. And I said to the chap, so how often should I have my gutters cleaned, ideally? Bearing in mind, I've lived in this house at this point for 20 plus years. I've never had them cleaned. How often should I have my gutters cleaned? And he went, well, probably once a year is what we advise. At which point I went, oh, okay. And I looked at him and he looked at me and they went, see you later then. And drove off in the van, never to be seen again. So I basically presented it with a nice open goal there of, well, you've just charged me, I think it was, 140 quid to clean my gutters. You've told me they'll need doing again in 12 months' time. And I've gone, oh, that sounds good. You could either book me in next year, you could put me on a direct debit, £10 a month, £15 a month, and say, don't worry, we'll take care of your gutters from now on. Every 12 months, we'll come out and clean your gutters. Now, they also do window cleaning. I've got a lot of windows. Did he say, oh, who cleans your windows? We could do that for you. Nope. They also do power washing. I've got a lot of patio. Did he say, how often do you have your patio power washed? We could do that for you. By the time he left, I could have been on a, 40 quid a month direct debit, and everything could have been taken care of. But instead, he's gone back to Google, doing Google ads, trying to win another £140 client. While I'm sat there going, hello, you could have had £1,000 out of me by now. But he didn't put retention first because he's too busy going, let's win more customers. Mr. Lamilton will come back if he's interested. That's the mantra in this country. If they're interested, they'll call me. If they remember and if they can be asked. And if their gutters bother them enough, which it took 20 years for them to bother me enough, that they actually are motivated enough to do it. And if so, I then need to remember who that company was. And I cannot for the life of me remember who they are now.
No. So I was expecting you to say, he's called you every year, come round and done it. He's added you to some sort of CRM. You've had a monthly newsletter about cleaning gutters and
my chimney sweep, by the way, does the opposite. Okay, so I had my chimney swept, probably when I had the wood burner installed, so probably getting on for 8 or 9 years now. I found a local chimney sweep, he booked me in, and every year without fail since then he's gone, hey, John, it's time to have your chimney swept again. He's booked in already for next month. I just know, and I just say to him every time, I love your systems. I say, you do not allow me to forget to have my chimney swept. That keeps me safe, okay? I think last year he said, look, your carbon monoxide alarm needs looking at. Go order this. I'm not going to sign off on it until you've done it. I'm like, brilliant. Thank you, mate. You've kept me safe. You've looked after me. And it's one less thing for me to think about or worry about. I don't need to consider, when did I last have my chimney swept? Because I know, Adam, if you're listening, hello, probably listening in the van right now whilst he's waiting to do my job. Thank you for your service today, mate.
So, I want to pick up another keyword that I wrote down while you were talking about retention first being the best goddamn book on customer retention. And that was proud, and it's a keyword that kind of has popped up a few times. It started in one of our boardroom members, but it's happening across the 1% Club members now, where people are proud about the work that they do. They're proud about the company that they're building. They're proud about their systems, their processes, the things that they're doing, and something to wake up in the morning and go, yeah, I'm really, really loving life. I'm really proud about what I'm kind of doing. And yeah, I wrote I'm proud against your book. You're not going to turn out something that you're not proud to put on your bookshelf behind you with all the other great books that you're proud of too.
Yeah, it's my name on the front. So that's my reputation. That comes, again, if you're listening, hello, Colette, my book coach from the very first book, who kind of battered me round the head. She calls herself the Gordon Ramsay of book coaches, and she is very much comes in and just goes, this is microwaved, this is reheated, you've served this shite up at the same time, your menu's crap, why are you doing this, we need to rebrand, right, sack him, he's got to go, and it's just everything while she's throwing up in a bin somewhere in the kitchen. But she said to me, look, it's your name on the front of this book, so it's your reputation. She was very blunt, if you want to put out a book that is, and I kind of said, well, good's good enough, isn't it? She went, no, it bloody isn't. If you want to put out a book that's substandard, you go ahead, but my name's not going anywhere near it. And I think you remember the book club launch, the book launch at the yacht club. We were all stood there holding copies of Big Ideas for Small Business that were kind of almost placeholders. They were the good enough version, but it wasn't actually the final version. And those copies did not contain Colette's name, because she was adamant my name is not going anywhere near that, because that, I'm not proud of that. The final version that came out 3 weeks later, we fixed everything, and yeah, she was happy to put her name to it. But that's pride. It's how many businesses have you seen whereby the founder will have their signature and say, I approve this. This is my product. This is my belief. A lot of the best founders in history are just they're associated with their product. James Dyson is not going to ship crap products that he isn't proud of, because it's his name on it. Literally, that's his legacy. If Dyson get a reputation for being shoddy products with corners cut and everything like that, he's going to say, no, not interested. I want to make the best product. I'm an engineer. I am only going to create products that I'm absolutely proud of. And I think, as you said, we've had it with 1%ers this year that, we've just said to them, look, how would you be proud to ship that? Creating this culture whereby even if you're not directly involved, the people who you are involved with understand that we do not ship anything that we're not proud of. One of the principles I talk about in Retention First is this comes from restaurants. Never serve anything that you wouldn't eat yourself. And I say in the book, if you wouldn't pay full RRP for your product or service, why are you expecting your customers to?
Yeah, and obviously conversely to that proud is that mediocrity, and I know we've had a few discussions about mediocrity in business and mediocrity in, well, everywhere really, to be fair, and how the UK seems to have fallen into the just accepting it everywhere, that it's on offer really, and it's just kind of actually, well, yeah, that's fine. It's what it is. It is what it is, kind of being attitude. But yeah, we do kind of see a mediocrity an awful lot across the board.
Definitely. And we had this discussion, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago now? And you kind of challenged me on it to be like, no, it's not that bad. And then for the next day, I was like, see, look, no, there it is again. Oh, look, this person's reporting some mediocrity. And it is, it doesn't affect everyone. And probably listeners to this podcast, it probably doesn't affect you because you're listening to a personal development podcast. But in general, the people driving our economy, the people working for our businesses are pretty mediocre. They are bang average, and that's their aim in life, is to be average. And they're taught throughout school, how are you doing compared to the average? You go to a parents' evening, and I say, oh yeah, little Johnny's doing fine. Yeah, he's right where he should be, bang in the middle, not tearing down any doors, not ripping up any trees. He's just bang average. And we've talked recently, let's not get political, but about the reforms to trying to get people to invest rather than save. We're a nation of savers. We want it annoys me. I am an investor. I read an investment magazine every week, and every week there's a little critique, a little clinic in it. Oh, we've got this much in stocks and shares. We've got this much in our ISA. This is our pension. We've got this in bonds. But every now and then someone will say, and we've both got 50 grand in premium bonds. I'm like, oh, premium bonds? No, it's the worst investment going. You think it's a brilliant. Oh, you could win £1 million. Yeah. One person wins £1 million, which means that 1 million people get nothing. That's how you get an average of, I don't know what the guaranteed return rate is, 3 point something percent. It's something below or around inflation. But as a nation, we love premium bonds because they're safe. And that's this key thing, it's safe. And getting a nice job that pays all right, and you keep your head down, and you don't do a terrible job, but you don't do a really brilliant job, and you don't take pride in your work, and you'll do all right. You'll get by. You'll have a mortgage. You'll get a house. You'll have a couple of kids who'll be average as well. And then they can go get a job and they can be bang average as well. And there is just, we're trying to look at how we fix this problem. I'm really trying difficult. I'm trying not to get political here, but
I just loved your example when I pushed back to you kind of thing. It's like, well, actually get your red book out for your baby when they're first born and you watch them plot on the centile chart. This is the average and that's where we want them to be. Yeah. Here's the above average, we don't want them there. And here's the below average, definitely don't want them there. But here's the average line and they have to follow that line all the way through. And and that was the thing to me. It's like, even from birth, we're taught that we need to be average.
Yeah. And then we model what we see. So when we see other people aiming to be and successfully being average, we go, cool, that's what I'll do. That's what I'll aim for. And the only way we are going to get out of this financial crisis that we are in is to be more productive as a nation. And you don't get a productive nation with a culture of mediocrity. The two are just interchanged. So that's what needs to happen. How that happens, I have not got a Scooby-Doo, and that's for the politicians to decide. So we won't get political. It's over to you, politicians. That's all you need to do, is just overrule probably 2 generations worth of accepting your lot, accepting mediocrity, and taking average as the goal for life. Good luck with that.
I have another challenge to our listeners, viewers as well, if you're on our YouTube. Is we talked about opportunity goggles in the Christmas special, and I'd like the mediocrity goggles to be placed on to have a look around and actually start noticing mediocrity in and around the services that you use, the places that you go, food you have to eat. Then turn it on yourselves and into your own business. Is that the best that I can turn out? Is that the best that a staff member can do? Is that the best thing that we did? Did I handle the phone call the best that it could have been? And then just think about what pride looks like versus mediocrity, and use those goggles to spot it everywhere, because you certainly will start seeing it. A bit like red cars when you say, I'm going to buy a new red car. You'll see mediocrity everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, we were in a hotel, wasn't it? It was just like simple of, I went to the bar, I can't remember what I asked for, and he was just like, I haven't got any. Oh, Guinness Zero. I'll have a Guinness Zero, please. Looking at the pump that says Guinness 0.0. I haven't got any. That was his entire customer service. Like, oh, great. What other alcohol? And I'm then prompting him to do his job well. I'm like, perhaps you could suggest some other alcohol-free options for me. Got a beer there. Cool. I'll have one of those then, please. And he's like, just waves the machine at me. I was like, oh, really, mate? This is obviously why you went into the hospitality industry, to just be surly. And customer service is so much easier without any customers, as many businesses are finding out these days.
Most businesses talk about their customers.
You're right. The mediocrity goggles, you will notice it everywhere. There's only a couple of weeks ago that I kind of first said about this, and then the minute I said about it, actually that person's dialing it in, that person's just going through the motions, that person really doesn't want to be here. And you do just notice it's everywhere.
Call it out. Suggest how you can improve. asking if that's really the best that they can offer.
Yeah.
Maybe if everybody challenged, if all of our listeners and viewers and things are challenged every bit of mediocrity, maybe that's how we change the nation or the world.
This is the problem. We are talking about a culture, and you are talking about changing cultures, and that's very difficult to do because we've got to do that as a nation, as a whole. Else it doesn't work. If I go around just pointing things out, then people just go, oh, he's a bloody moaner. He's complaining. That has happened.
It's another old git come in.
Yeah. Perhaps that should be my next book. I did say I wasn't going to write another book after this one, but perhaps, the culture of mediocrity should be my next book. Maybe. No one would buy it, though. It'd be, how's it doing? Yeah, pretty average.
Leads me on to, we mentioned goggles and opportunities from Christmas. We use that as our focal point for our live. Where we've got over 40 of our 1%ers in a room in Birmingham. And we talked through the opportunity goggles and things like that as well. So how do you think it went?
I think it was really good. It's the first time we've done the event in Birmingham in this new venue. And it was a bigger room than we'd had before. It was the biggest event we've ever done. I think it went really well. I think the vibe, I just love the momentum and the energy that's in that room. And I think I've done this in previous years as well, but just, again, the word is pride, but just looking around and seeing the conversations that are happening, hearing that buzz of conversation, of laughter. When I think Sarah did her session with the cards, so everyone was working together. These are people who pretty much in general had never met. Right, one or two might have done, but most of these people had never met before. I think this was an afternoon session as well, so you'd forced everyone to sit in a different seat. Yep. So in the morning, everyone came and sat where they wanted, and then you kind of took them out of their comfort zone, put their opportunity goggles on and said, right, you're now all going to sit somewhere different. You can't sit next to your friends. You've got to sit next to someone you don't know. And then we got them collaborating and working together, and just seeing people who had never met suddenly collaborating and working together and sticking stickers over their mouths and going through brainstorming each other's businesses. Yeah, pride is the only thing that I can really say that comes close to that feeling.
Yeah, it was absolutely lovely. As you say, that buzz, the cogs turning, just the realizations that happened, the conversations that happened before, the night before, during the day, afterwards. Yeah. It's just brilliant to bring lots of people who are all ambitious lifestyle business owners together in a room with that common purpose and all wanting each other to succeed and working on each other's bits. I think that's, as you say, is definitely pride and gives you that warm feeling inside.
Yeah. We, most of what we do is online. We spend most of the year Zoom calls, online community, chatting. Every now and then we'll meet someone face to face, or a couple of members might meet up for a chat. But this is the only time that, 40 odd of them are all in the same room, all just mingling and networking and just really cementing those relationships together. A lot of these people without the 1% Club would never have met each other. And now there's lifelong friendships there, and there are businesses that have been launched together. I don't think we've had a 1% baby yet or a 1% marriage, but it'll come, I'm sure. Live next year we'll do blind date.
We were talking about some speed dating, weren't we? So that maybe stand by, everyone.
Yeah, we put actual goggles on you.
Good. Authenticity was the next topic that I kind of picked up on, obviously from all of your books, from the way we present ourselves, from the way we put our videos, our podcast that you're listening to right now. It's us. There is no there is no polish, there is no spit, there is no
definitely no polish.
Maybe a bit of spit, but but it is the authentic self. And if you've looked at any of our old videos on YouTube, for example, that you can kind of see where we've come from and where we still are, and what we produce. And it's the authenticity. It's the authentic writing in the books. It's telling that story of the ordinary person, and which it is, and we are, and we've continued to be, that kind of does that, then draws people into the 1% club, and that's kind of how that's how people come together and actually know they have shared values, they know they have the shared vision for themselves, and so when they're all in the same room, it's no doubt, it's not it is by design, but it is because of authenticity that actually they're the right type of people to share in the same room and to do the right things and to get on together. And so we see that on the Zoom calls as well, obviously, but in person, it just kind of like goes boom. And it's like, wow, that's just magic.
Yeah. Obviously, we've got the no dickheads rule, which should take care of the authenticity, because those people who are dickheads are authentically dickheads, pretty much. But the group automatically repels them, and there is this desire, and I'm just starting to notice the rumblings of kind of, I don't want to say anti-AI, but there is a bit of a backlash coming against crap use of AI, inauthentic use of AI, because, Chris Spencer on the last podcast called it, was it a microwaving your marketing, just reheating the same stuff that everyone else has used. And I know I'm looking at content, and within 3 seconds I'm going, it's AI. You didn't write that. That isn't your opinion. Those are not your thoughts. That's not your lived experience. That's just something you've asked ChatGPT to write on your behalf. And good AI, or good use of AI, isn't that. It is well trained, it is leveraged, and it is authentic. And I think, I'm not going to rally against AI and say nobody should be using it, but please train your models in what it means to be authentically you. I created a version of me several years ago now that many people have been using, but it's probably like a parody of me, because it's got access to all my books. It's been told to talk about Plymouth Argyle, Warren Buffett, and cake, but it probably looks like Alistair McGowan doing an impression of me. It's close, but it's not me. It's not really me, and it's not meant to be me. It's not meant to replace me. And I think, I see so many people, and I do think there's a desire for this authentic content. I have had an idea for a social network. Just throwing it out there because I'm not doing it, but it is humans only. You're not allowed to copy and paste anything. No bots are allowed on there. If you want to post on there, the only way to post is to type, and that's it. And we just allow no automation whatsoever. It's just humans. And then that every single post on that platform is authentic. And that, I think, is what's possibly going to be people crying out for in the next 12, 24 months, is just some authentic content. We were chatting before we came on about, there's a very famous guru doing a course on, how to make the most of AI. And we're like, you're about 2 years too late, mate. There was a huge appetite for that in 2023, but for now, I've spoken to a few public speakers about this. They said, dependent on your audience, the minute you say my talk is about AI, people either go, ooh, and get their pens out, or they roll their eyes and go, oh, again, another one? Really, is that what we need? And it's just, I don't know, AI overwhelm, is it maybe?
I think overwhelm, and it's rammed in your face all the time, isn't it? It's over there. Everyone's got something to say about it and offer it up. Whether it be the death of AI, I don't know, because I know you kind of think actually that full circle. It's kind of, I have no idea, but it's interesting the take it's on people and what that's and what it's doing really. But authenticity is definitely that thing, and that's what matters to the search engines. That's all about your experience that you've lived. That's telling your story your way. That's why people buy books, to hear your story the way you wanted to write it. They're not looking for some churned out stuff that a piece of software's gone and researched for you. That's not what they're after. They're after you and your words. And the same with your posts on socials and stuff. So authenticity is really important. One other thing that is kind of been a trend for this year, really, and possibly just a little bit longer, but it's a number of 1%ers that are finding themselves getting late diagnoses for neuro stuff, neurodivergency, whether it's ADHD or something along those lines. Just large numbers, and we've always been really flippant with the shiny object syndrome, and with the chasing squirrels and things like that. We've used that analogy now probably for every year that we've been running the Ambitious Lifestyle business. But yeah, it's just really coming to fore now that I think Send is in the news all over the place for the kids, and adults are now questioning themselves. And as I say, there's a fair percentage of 1%ers. I mean, everybody's on a spectrum. Don't get me wrong. You know, that's the way of life, isn't it? But it's just really interesting that lots of people are getting diagnoses now, which are opening their minds to kind of how they've been and where they've been and their experiences they've had in their 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of life. And part of my one-to-ones and stuff is finding strategies and things to cope with some of those neurodiverse traits, superpowers, however you want to put it, in order to help them with their planning and not chasing quite so many shiny squirrels and shiny objects, and squirrels and things like that. So, really, really interesting trend this year, really more than any others.
Yeah, I noticed it probably 3 years ago. Just more and more. So we've had 2 children go through an autism diagnosis. One probably ADHD as well. As part of that learning process, I've diagnosed my wife with ADHD, as the professional that I am. And in return, she's managed to diagnose me with autism. So, it's got to come from somewhere, hasn't it? So I've kind of studied more about it and noticing more traits and realizing that actually, it's weird because you said more and more people are discovering this. I read a book this year as part of my own self-discovery regarding my own autism, and that book was called Why Can't I Just Enjoy Things? It's a comedian's guide to autism, so it's right on my street. It's not too serious. It's by a comedian called Pierre Novelli. And Pierre makes a really, really interesting point that autism is, I think he said, between 4 and 7% of the population are diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. And he said, but the only reason that we talk about this as a neurodiversity rather than being the norm, neurotypical, is because it's a minority. He said, but as more and more people are being diagnosed, and as more and more health organizations are refusing to diagnose people because that pushes the numbers up, you may find that actually neurotypical people might be the minority. And he said, in which case, if us neurotypicals, us neurospicy people, were the majority, which we may well be, taking over the world, guys, then the world would be created for us. And the amount of stuff that he breaks down and just goes, well, neurotypical people behave like this, which is completely logical and makes sense. Meanwhile, the neurotypical people say one thing when they actually mean another. And they say this, which doesn't mean that. It actually means this. It's all this stuff that actually doesn't make sense. But I thought it was really interesting that, we are a minority. But I think from the data I've seen around certainly business owners, huge proportion are neurotypical. It's certainly not a minority. I would say, and I am sticking my flag in the ground here, that I think more than 50% of business owners worldwide are neurodivergent in some way. And, we are talking about a spectrum here. But
I put a flag in a bit wider, to be honest.
Okay, you think it's a vast majority, do you?
I do. Yeah, I do think so. Just I do, but I think that's one of the superpowers of an entrepreneurship or business owner, is being able to be either hyper focused
Yep.
or have the mindset that actually, no, I'm looking for the next big deal. I'm looking for the next big thing. I'm looking for the next tool that's going to help me. I'm looking for the next advancement that we can make.
Always on opportunity goggles.
Yes,
Cannot turn them off.
Oh, squirrel! No, yeah, that's it. I mean, it comes with its challenges as well. And one of the ones which certainly a handful of centres that I've been working with is the now or the never, the now or never kind of complex, if you like, or if that's what you'd call it. But it's either the thing is now or it's a never thing. It's somewhere in the difference. And working on a 90-day plan is really difficult because 90 days is a never thing. Today's a thing. that 90 days is not. So so one of the strategies that kind of came up with really was filling it, rather than the planner with all of the things that's on there, is to rewrite the planner onto post-it notes. So you've got a pile of post-it notes, and each of the tasks that you need to do.
Well, these, you mean?
One of those, if you're on our YouTube channel.
Why would I have this handy? I don't know.
And on each page of that is the thing that you need to do. Each week's one thing is on each page of that. And as you do your one thing for that week or that day, you can rip off that. I put them in a jar so that you've got a nice stash of success things that you've achieved. And then you're only faced with one other thing that's now the now thing to do. Everything else is never. It's down the pile. If you don't get around to tearing the top page off this week, not a big problem. We'll do it next week. But it is the case of actually, not being able to worry about what else is on the list. So if you've got a mountain to climb, break it down and put it into post-it notes. There are other sticky labelled paper squares that you can use, I'm guessing. But being post-it notes sounds probably good. Just rip one off and then work on the next one thing that's below it. Never having to worry about what's coming up. So now or never, that seems like a really good strategy that I've used with a couple of other centres.
Yeah, I think the key thing with any neurodiversity is to find what works for you, and that I think is the compelling reason that there are so many neurodiverse business owners, is because this one size fits all system doesn't suit me. It doesn't, the world of the civil service does not conform to me and my needs. Therefore, I'm going to create this little world where things do conform to my needs, and I can work in a way that doesn't make me want to claw my eyes out.
Yeah. And that's brilliant, isn't it? If there's a better way of doing it, or you want to find a way that works for you, and that's really important. Yeah,
definitely. I forgot where I was going there. There's that hyper focus again.
Have a look and see what's on top.
I mean, literally, the two chaps that were on the shelf behind me there, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, famously hyper focused. The ability to, I think it was Buffett in The Snowball, describes being sat on the stairs reading some dry financial text, and one of his children arrived home hurt, like they'd injured, sprained their ankle or something, crawled over him on the stairs, clearly in some pain, and then about 2 hours later, when he'd finished doing what he was doing, said, "Are you okay?" Noticed that something was wrong with his child because he was just in it. Charlie Munger, I think his children called him a book with legs, because he is just, and that is that ability to focus. And if you look at the success they've had, basically 8 decades of doing the same thing, of just rinse and repeat. This is what we do. We keep it simple. We've got a simple strategy. We don't get distracted, but we just hyper focus. Conversely, never write. Episode 37 of the LB podcast, you can listen to my interview with Neville. ADHD and dyslexia, which he says 2 of his superpowers, because he can go around with those opportunity goggles on permanently going, that needs changing, that can be improved, we can save some money here, there's a new market line we can do here, I've seen this happening somewhere else, and he just ideas like a scattergun. But what worked for him was having someone behind him going, right, boss, yes, and documenting and capturing and organising and making it happen. So Nev was going around just finding opportunities everywhere. And he then had probably someone with a different neurospice following him behind, making sure it all got done and making sure everyone was organised and making sure that we're hyper-focus. So yeah, whatever your neurospice is, you create your own little world whereby your small business, your ambitious lifestyle business is designed for you. And that would just make everything else easier. And yeah, if you are considering joining a community of neurospicy people, we don't advertise it as such, but we do seem to attract rather a lot of neurodiverse people. So yeah, the 1% Club could be a natural place for you.
Awesome. Doors open next month, September. That's what we do. We only open the doors twice a year, March and September. So yeah, next month, that's when we open, and looking forward to some of our coaching calls that we've got coming up, because we've got a few guests coming on the coaching calls, haven't we? Some guest authors.
We have, yes. We've got Phil Agnew, the host of Nudge, which is the UK's #1 marketing podcast. He's going to be talking us through how we can use sort of, I'm going to say brain sciencey stuff. Behavioral science it's one of the pet topics that I absolutely love, but how we can do this as small business owners, not as multi-conglomerates. He's going to be walking us through how to do that. We've also got
the doors, though, isn't he? So if you're joining the 1% Club, you want to kind of do that the first day of September, because I think he's in on the 2nd,
11th of September, is it?
2nd.
Oh, 2nd of September. Okay, yeah. You do very quick if you want to see
Phil.
You
need to join straight in there to get Phil. And then,
if you missed Phil, of course, all our calls are recorded. They are in the members area, so you can actually see not only Phil's call, but calls that we've had in the past with Neville Wright, with Gerald Ratner, with Andrew Craig, many other famous guest authors as well. October, we've got the sweariest Frenchman I've ever met joining us, Louis Grenier, who will be talking us through his framework. Now, are we allowed to swear on this podcast? I don't know. Or shall I self-censor it?
You can self-censor.
Okay. His book is called Stand the F Out. Insert your own swear word in there. And he's going to be talking us through that framework. I read his book a couple of months ago now, and it's really, really good. It's hard work. It's not a magic bullet, but it is a framework for ensuring that your marketing elevates you above the noise. If you want to stand out from the crowd, if you want to be uniquely, coming around in the loop here, authentically you, then Louis' framework for standing the cluck out, I'll put in there. There you go, that works. He's got a rooster on the front cover of his book, so stand the cluck out, it could be. And Louis is going to be joining us on the 21st of October, I believe, isn't it? We have got other coaching calls as well. We've got regular hot seats, which is like a mastermind, but fast and furious. So you've got like 5 to 10 minutes to have the 1% Club collective working on your problem. What other calls have we got coming up this quarter? My brain's gone blank.
My personal favourites, I think, really is our work along. We get 20 or so join us and sit there and work for 2 hours, tell us what they're going to do at the beginning and then show us what they've done at the end. But in the meantime, actually getting shit done. Can I say that word? Probably can.
There you go. I self-censored myself and you've gone with shit. There we go.
Actually get stuff done. We've got that coming up.
It's too late now. It's out.
And our second, and we're doing another live. We're doing another in person. Very exciting. Yes. Flamingo's on tour. We're off to Alicante in October as well. So yeah, lots of reasons to come and join us in the 1% Club. John, it's been fantastic this summer special, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly has. I'm looking forward to our Christmas special already.
Are you?
Because I might have had a book out by then, you see.
Yeah, got you.
Hopefully.
We're going to talk about that as well. And no politics today, so we must have done really well.
We've done very well, I think. We deserve a pat on the back and no tax rises in the October budget. That's what we deserve.
We'll get into that. Take care of yourselves, dear listeners, and we'll catch you on the next podcast.
Brilliant. Speak to you soon, guys. Bye-bye.
So there we are, another episode in the can. How was it for you? Please let us know. However you listen to these podcasts, please leave a review on that platform. Let us know what we can do better, what you like, what you don't like, and how we can improve to make this show even better for you. We'll see you next time.